Former National Security Advisor John Bolton said former President Trump hasn't set a good example, claiming his actions could have an unfortunate ripple effect. I think the president's example really has an unfortunate ripple effect throughout the bureaucracy and gives rise to a lot of cynicism and a lot of carelessness. Bolton said on CNN on Friday, responding to reports that Trump shared classified information with an Australian billionaire. The news, first reported by ABC News on Thursday, alleges former President Trump talked about U.S. nuclear submarine capabilities with billionaire Anthony Pratt at his Mar-a-Lago club in early 2021. Trump supposedly revealed classified details on the amount of nuclear armaments carried by the submarines alongside other information. Pratt then shared the information with over a dozen foreign officials, journalists, and some of his employees, ABC News reported. The billionaire has already been questioned by FBI and Justice Department prosecutors regarding information at least twice. Bolton said Trump's alleged action in the situation wouldn't be unexpected. A very insightful person said to me during the 2016 campaign that Trump has no filter between his brain and his mouth, Bolton said, and I think that's a big part of the problem here, but it displays itself in a lot of different ways. There's the famous story of him being shown a sensitive overhead photo of a failed missile launch in Iran, which normally we wouldn't even talk about, but he was so attached to the photo he has to keep it, Bolton added. He went on to explain that it wasn't long before Trump had shared it on social media. You know, when I first saw the headline of this article, I thought it was going to be Bolton talking about how the unfortunate ripple effect was maybe people who, I don't know, lie, because they like to pretend that Trump is the first president to ever lie. But I don't know, I kind of agree with this. I've never felt as if Trump is someone who would be able to differentiate saying something in public and saying something in private. I think he's a lot better at taking a position that is publicized and then doing something that's not as popular as the position that he stated. So just like how now he talks about not wanting to cut Social Security or Medicare, who could forget that in his budget proposals when he was president, he tried to cut them. He's someone who talks about, for example, Biden's handling of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, but was very much criticized for being too soft on Putin. So I feel like Trump is really good at knowing kind of where the public's belief system is regarding an issue, but because of that good instinct, he doesn't, in most cases, follow it through with something that is demonstrative of what you would actually see from a person who truly gets it. I mean, let's not forget, he went to go see these UAW strikers and basically told them, just vote for me and things will get better. So, like I said, you can't be pro-labor and against wage increases. I can't roll with that. Like, even a marginal increase you're just opposed to. So I do think he probably shared some information. I highly doubt it was maybe if we're giving the benefit of the doubt, maybe he shared it by accident or didn't realize it was classified. But even if he did it like out of just complete malfeasance, which I don't believe, but even if he did in that regard, he's not going to get in any trouble. And really, that's a ripple effect that I think is bigger than him. I mean, there's always been this thing of when you're a wealthy person, you can basically do whatever you want as long as you have the money to pay for some good lawyers and some other way of getting yourself off the hook. But then if you're a person who is lower class, middle class, you can face consequences for breaking the law or doing something that the government frowns upon. And I think he probably did do something the government frowns upon, but just like the 91 charges, they've yet to stick to him. I just don't see him getting in trouble for such an oversight. But no, I thought when I saw the headline about the unfortunate ripple effect with the rise of cynicism and carelessness, I mean, we could talk about, Bobert going to Beetlejuice and grabbing all up on her date in a very inappropriate way in public. We could talk about, there's instances of people doing things that could be considered careless or. Let's not forget the State of the Union, the speech that's normally supposed to just be people listen to the president while they speak. You give your disapproving look, your applause, that's it. And they shouted Biden down. So in the era since Trump, there has been, I think, an increase in cynicism and carelessness. But I feel like a lot of this stuff, and I've explained before, it was there before he even came on the scene. It's just that he's really held up a magnifying glass to the difference between the wealthy and the non-rich.